Captain Kim Minho walked through the long glass corridor of the Galactic Council station. His boots made soft sounds on the smooth floor. Behind him walked 3 other humans from Earth. They all wore their best blue uniforms with gold buttons. Minho felt very small in this huge place. The walls around them were made of some kind of crystal that changed colors. Purple, then green, then gold. Minho had never seen anything like it. Back on Earth, their biggest building was nothing compared to this place. This station was bigger than most human cities. "Stay close," Minho said quietly to his team. Lieutenant Park So-young nodded. She carried a small bag with all their papers and documents. Engineer Lee Tae-ho looked around with wide eyes. Dr. O. Miran wrote notes on her tablet about everything she saw. They reached a huge round room with a ceiling so high Minho could not see the top. Hundreds of alien creatures sat in floating chairs arranged in circles. Some aliens were tall and thin, like trees. Others were short and round. Some had too many arms. Others had no arms at all. "The humans have arrived," announced a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Minho felt his heart beat faster. All those alien eyes turned to look at them. He suddenly felt like a mouse walking into a room full of cats. A massive creature, covered in green scales and metal armor, floated down from the upper levels. This was Ambassador Grak of the Korthok Empire. Each of his arms was thicker than Minho's whole body. His teeth were as long as kitchen knives. "So these are the famous humans," Grak said. His voice sounded like rocks being crushed. "I have heard interesting stories about your little planet." Another alien approached them. This one looked like a floating jellyfish with glowing tentacles. Its body was see-through, and Minho could see strange organs inside. This was Counselor Veltar from the Zephyrian Collective. "Such simple creatures," Veltar said, but his voice appeared directly inside Minho's head, not through his ears. "Their thoughts are so basic. Like looking at the mind of a child." Minho tried not to show how angry this made him. He had spent 10 years in space. He had fixed broken ships with his bare hands. He had survived 3 different alien diseases. But to these creatures, he was just a simple animal. "We come seeking protected status for humanity," Minho said formally. He had practiced these words many times. "Earth wishes to join the galactic community in peace." Several aliens made sounds. That might have been laughter. Grak's laugh sounded like metal being bent. A bird-like creature with 4 wings made high chirping sounds. Even some of the smaller aliens seemed amused. "Protected status," repeated a slug-like alien who spoke through slime bubbles. "How cute. What exactly do humans offer the galaxy?" "Doctor." Oh, Miran stepped forward. "We have made advances in medical technology. Our agriculture feeds billions. We have created art and music and literature. ... Art," Grak boomed. "They make pretty pictures. How useful in real galactic affairs." Veltar's tentacles waved slowly. "I can sense their emotions so clearly. Fear, hope, anger. They feel everything so strongly. Like pets, really." Minho's hands made fists at his sides, but he forced his voice to stay calm. "We ask only for the chance to grow and learn among the galactic community." Of course," said a tall alien who looked like a walking stick insect. "We are not unreasonable. The Council has discussed humanity's application." A hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a map of the galaxy with billions of stars. Most areas were marked in different colors: red for Korthok territory, blue for Zephyrian space, green for other major powers. "Humanity will receive 3 star systems in the Tau sector," the stick insect announced. "These systems are suitable for your limited needs." Minho looked at the map. The 3 systems were tiny dots far from any important trade routes. The planets there were marked as having minimal resources. "There are, naturally, some conditions," Veltar said. His mental voice felt cold inside Minho's head. "No military vessels larger than patrol craft. No weapons research. All trade must go through council-approved channels. And of course, the annual tribute payment. Tribute LT Park, Soyoung asked. 20% of all production, Grak said casually. Standard rate for protected species. Consider it payment for our generous protection. Protection from what? Engineer Lee Taeho asked. The room fell silent. Then many aliens began laughing again. The sound was terrible, like breaking glass mixed with animal screams. From us, little human, Grak said, showing all his knife-like teeth. Protection from us. The vote was quick. Humanity's application was approved with the stated conditions. Minho signed the papers with a pen that felt heavy in his hand. Each signature felt like a chain being locked around Earth's future. As they walked back through the crystal corridor, LT Park whispered, "Sir, they treat us like we're nothing." Minho looked back at the council chamber. Inside, aliens were already discussing other business. Humanity was forgotten the moment they left. Let them think that, Minho said quietly. Sometimes it's better to be underestimated. But deep inside, anger burned like a small flame. Someday, Minho thought, they would learn what humans were really capable of. Someday, they would regret treating Earth like a pet. 5 years had passed since the council meeting. Captain Lee Jamin stood on the bridge of his cargo ship Soulstar and watched the Korthok raiders approach. This was the 4th time this month. His hands shook as he prepared to transmit the surrender signal. "This is Korthok, Commander Thax," the voice growled through the radio. "Prepare for inspection." Jamin knew what inspection meant. It meant that Korthok would take whatever they wanted. Last time, they had stolen half his food supplies. The time before that, they took all his medical equipment. "Please, Commander Thax," Jamin said into the radio. "I am carrying medicine for the children on New Busan colony. Many are sick with fever. Without this medicine, they will die." The radio was quiet for a moment. Then Thax laughed. "Not my problem, human." 20 minutes later, Korthak's soldiers in heavy armor stomped through Jamin's ship. They moved like they owned everything they touched. Their leader, Thax, was even bigger than the Korthak from the council meeting. His armor had pictures of human skulls painted on it. "Nice ship," Thax said, running his clawed hand along the wall. "Good engines. Maybe I keep it." "Sir, please," Jamin begged. "The children need that medicine. They are only 5 years old, some of them." Thax picked up a box of medicine and read the label. Then he dropped it on the floor. The bottles inside broke with small tinkling sounds. "Oops," Thax said. He was smiling. J-Min watched the medicine spread across the floor in puddles of different colors. Each puddle represented a child who might die. His heart felt like it was breaking. "You take too long with inspections," Thax said. "Next time, have everything ready faster." The Korthak soldiers carried away 3 boxes of food, 2 boxes of tools, and all the remaining medicine. They left Jamin with empty shelves and a broken heart. On the mining planet Kepler-4 for 2B. Supervisor Choi Hyjin woke up, but her mind felt foggy. She stood up from her bed, but did not remember deciding to stand. Her feet walked toward the mine entrance, but she had not told them to walk. Around her, 300 other human miners moved like robots. Their eyes were empty and staring. None of them spoke. The Zephyrian overseers floated above them, their tentacles glowing with strange light. Hyjin tried to stop walking, but her legs would not obey. She tried to scream, but her mouth would not open. Inside her mind, she was trapped like a prisoner in her own body. The Zephyrian called Volinix spoke directly into all their minds at once. "Work faster, humans. The ore quota must be met." Hyjin's hands picked up mining tools. The tools were heavy and made her back hurt, but she could not put them down. Her body belonged to Volinix now. She watched her friend Park Geneseo collapse from exhaustion. He had been working for 16 hours without rest. His breathing was shallow and his skin was gray, but even as he lay on the ground, His hands kept moving, trying to dig. Get up, Velenix commanded through their minds. John Essio's body tried to stand, but he was too weak. He fell down again. Velenix made an angry sound, like steam escaping. Useless, the alien said. 2 robot guards came and dragged Geneseo away. Hyjin never saw him again. That night, Hyjin sat in her small room. For a few hours each day, the Zephyrian control was weaker. She could think her own thoughts. She looked at her hands. They were cut and bleeding from the mining tools. Her back hurt so much she could barely sit up. She thought about her daughter back on Earth. Little Sujin was only 8 years old. Hyjin had come to this planet to make money for Sujin's education. Now she wondered if she would ever see her daughter again. On Earth, Admiral Song Minjun sat in his office reading reports. Each report made him angrier. Human ships being robbed by Korthok raiders. Human colonies forced to pay impossible taxes. Human miners being worked to death on alien worlds. The worst report was from New Busan colony. 43 children had died from fever because their medicine had been destroyed during a Korthok inspection. The youngest was only 3 years old. Song's assistant, Colonel Kim Dae-young, placed another file on his desk. Sir, we have confirmed reports from Kepler-4 for 2B. The Zephyrians are using mind control on our people. They are forcing humans to work until they die. Song read the file. Inside were pictures that made his stomach sick. Human bodies collapsed in mine tunnels. Workers so thin their bones showed through their skin. Eyes that looked empty of all hope. How many? Song asked quietly. Over 300 missing, presumed dead. Kim Dae-young answered. The survivors. Sir, their minds are damaged. Some cannot remember their own names. Song stood up and walked to his window. Outside, he could see the lights of Seoul. Millions of humans living their lives. Most of them did not know what was happening to their people in space. The council says this is legal, Song said. They say we agreed to these conditions. Yes, sir, when we signed the protection agreement. Song turned away from the window. His face looked older than his 50 years. Protection. They call this protection. That night, Song made several secret phone calls. He spoke to scientists, engineers, and military officers he had known for many years. People who were tired of watching their species be treated like animals. It's time, he told each of them. Time to show them what humans are really capable of. The galaxy had made humanity suffer for 5 years. Now it was time for the galaxy to learn about human anger. Deep in the asteroid belt beyond Pluto, Dr. Han Sujin worked in complete darkness. Her laboratory was hidden inside a rock that looked dead and empty from the outside. But inside, blue lights glowed from dozens of computer screens. Sujin's fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. She was building something the galaxy had never seen before. An artificial intelligence that could learn and change faster than any alien computer. The Korthok used quantum processors that were very powerful. But Sujin's AI was different. It did not just calculate, it evolved. Test number 412, she said to herself. On her screen, 2 computer programs fought each other. One was a copy of Korthok military software. The other was her AI. The Korthok program started winning. It was faster and stronger. But then something amazing happened. Sujin's AI began to change itself. It rewrote its own code while fighting. After 30 seconds, it was completely different. After 1 minute, it had beaten the Korthok program. Perfect, Sujin whispered. She had been working on this for 3 years. Her eyes were tired, and her back hurt from sitting so long. But finally, it was ready. Su-Jin thought about her brother. He had been a cargo pilot, like Lee Jae-min. 6 months ago, Korthok raiders had not just robbed his ship. They had killed him for fun. Sujin still remembered getting the news. She had cried for 3 days. Then she had stopped crying and started working. In another hidden base on the dark side of the moon, Engineer Bei Wasung tested his new weapons. These were not normal guns that shot bullets. These were plasma rifles, designed specifically to hurt Korthok soldiers. Wusong had studied Korthok biology for 2 years. He knew their weakness. The Korthok nervous system used electrical signals that ran at a specific frequency. If you could disrupt that frequency, you could paralyze them. He pointed his rifle at a target and pulled the trigger. Blue light shot out and hit a dummy dressed in Korthok armor. The dummy's electrical systems immediately shut down. The armor means nothing if their nervous system stops working, Wusung said to his assistant, Lieutenant Nam Hoseok. Hoseok was working on something even more dangerous. Computer viruses that could attack alien networks. The council thought their systems were impossible to hack, but Hoseok had been secretly studying them for years. He knew their weak points. Every system has flaws, Hoseok explained to Wusong, even alien ones. The Zephyrians use psychic links to connect their computers, but psychic links work both ways. If I can get a virus into one Zephyrian computer, it will spread to all of them. On Mars, in a laboratory buried deep underground, Dr. Kang Dana watched her volunteers train. These were not normal humans anymore. They had been changed by genetic engineering and special drugs. The volunteers could survive in space, without suits for short periods. Their blood carried more oxygen. Their skin was thicker and could resist radiation. Most importantly, their brains had been modified to resist psychic attacks. How do you feel, Sergeant Park? Vina asked, one of the volunteers. Sergeant Park Min smiled. His teeth looked different now, stronger. I feel powerful, Doctor, like I could fight a Korthok with my bare hands. Park was not bragging. The genetic changes had made him 3 times stronger than a normal human. His reflexes were faster, and his bones were harder to break. But the most important change was invisible. His mind could not be controlled by Zephyrian psychic powers. Dana had lost her daughter on Kepler 442b. The little girl had been visiting the mining colony with her school class when the Zephyrians took control. Now her daughter was dead, worked to death in the alien mines. Vena had volunteered her own body for the first genetic experiments. The pain had been terrible, but she survived. Now she was creating an army of humans who could fight back. Admiral Song Minjin visited each of these secret bases. What he saw amazed him. In 3 years, human scientists had created weapons and soldiers that could defeat any alien force, but they had done it all in secret. The bases were hidden in asteroids, on the dark sides of moons, and deep underground on Mars. No alien scanner could find them. The humans working there were all volunteers. Many had lost family members to alien cruelty. Song stood in the main command center on Asteroid Base 1. Around him, holographic screens showed the locations of dozens of human ships. These ships had been built in secret, using new technology. They were smaller than alien warships, but much faster and smarter. How many ships do we have ready? Song asked Colonel Kim Da-young. 237, sir. All armed with plasma weapons and AI systems. The crews are all volunteers who have completed genetic enhancement. Song looked at another screen showing alien military bases throughout the galaxy. Red dots marked Korthok strongholds. Blue dots showed Zephyrian command centers. For years, these bases had seemed impossible to attack. Now Song knew exactly how to destroy them. The aliens think we are still weak, Song said. They think we are still the same humans who begged for protection 5 years ago. Da-young smiled. They have no idea what we have become. Song walked to a window that looked out into space. Somewhere out there, human miners were still being worked to death. Human pilots were still being robbed and killed. Human children were still dying because aliens stole their medicine. They wanted to keep us as pets, Song said quietly. They are about to learn that humans are not pets. We are predators, and we have been hiding our teeth long enough. The preparations. were complete. Soon the galaxy would discover what happened when you pushed humanity too far. At exactly 0800 Galactic Standard Time, Admiral Song Minjin gave the order that would change everything. Across the galaxy, 237 human ships appeared from hyperspace at the same moment. The aliens had no warning. Commander, Grak was drinking his morning meal when alarms began screaming in his command center. The massive Korthok stumbled to his feet, spilling green liquid across his armor. His aide rushed in with wild eyes. Sir, human ships, dozens of them. They just appeared around our base. Grak laughed. Humans? Those weak little creatures. How many patrol boats did they bring? 5, 10. Sir, it's not patrol boats. These are warships, and they're shooting. Grak's laughter died. He ran to the command center and saw something impossible on his screens. Small human ships moved like angry insects around his giant space station. But these ships were not flying like anything he had ever seen. They moved together like a school of fish, turning and diving in perfect coordination. All weapons, fire. Grak roared. His station's huge cannons began shooting, but every time they aimed at a human ship, it was already gone. The humans moved. Too fast and too smart. Grak's targeting computers could not keep up. Then the human ships began firing back. Blue plasma beams hit Grak's station. The energy went right through his armor plating, like it was made of paper. Explosions rocked the station. Warning lights flashed red everywhere. Impossible, Grak shouted. Our armor is the strongest in the galaxy, but the human weapons were designed specifically for Korthok technology. Every shot found a weakness. Every hit caused maximum damage. In 10 minutes, Grak's mighty space station was nothing but burning metal floating in space, on the planet Kepler 4, for 2b. Captain Jung Yoon-soo and her Marines fell from the sky like meteors. They wore no spacesuits. Their enhanced bodies could survive the planet's poisonous air for 30 minutes. That was all the time they needed. The Zephyrian guards saw the humans coming and tried to use their psychic powers. They pushed their mental attacks into the humans' minds, expecting to take control like they had done thousands of times before. Nothing happened. Jung Yoon-soo smiled as she felt the alien thoughts bounce off her modified brain. Your mind tricks. Don't work on us anymore, she said. The Zephyrians panicked. They had ruled this planet through fear and mental control. Without their psychic powers, they were just soft, floating jellyfish. Jung Yoon-soo's Marines moved through the mining complex, like a storm. Their enhanced bodies were faster and stronger than any normal human. They could see in the dark and hear alien heartbeats from 50 meters away. The few Zephyrian weapons could not hurt them. In the deepest mine tunnel, Jung Yoon-soo found Supervisor Choi Haijin. The woman was so thin her bones showed through her skin. Her eyes were empty and staring. She had been under psychic control for so long, she had almost forgotten how to think for herself. You're free now, Jung Yoon-soo said gently. The aliens can't control you anymore? Haijin blinked slowly. For the first time in 2 years, her thoughts were her own. Free, she whispered. Free, Jung Yoon-soo confirmed, and we're taking you home. But the most devastating attack was not happening in space or on distant planets. It was happening inside every alien computer system in the galaxy. Lieutenant Nam Hoseok sat in a hidden bunker on Earth, his fingers dancing across dozens of keyboards at once. Around him, screens showed the networks of every major alien government. For 3 years, he had been secretly placing tiny computer viruses in alien systems. The aliens never noticed, because the viruses did nothing except wait. Now Hoseok activated all of them at once. Beginning Phase 1, he announced. Disabling Korthok military communications. Across the galaxy, every Korthok military base suddenly went silent. Their computers crashed. Their communication systems died. Ships that had been talking to each other seconds before were now alone in the dark. Phase 2, Hoseok said. broadcasting evidence. Every screen in the galaxy began showing the same images. Videos of human children dying because aliens had stolen their medicine. Pictures of human miners worked to death in alien camps. Recordings of alien leaders laughing about human suffering. The broadcasts went everywhere. Even planets that had never heard of humans saw the evidence of alien cruelty. Many alien species were shocked. They had not known what the Korthok and Zephyrians were doing to humans. Phase 3, Hosiok said with a cold smile. Total system failure. The viruses that had been sleeping in alien computers for years suddenly came alive. They began deleting files and destroying programs. Military databases vanished. Government records disappeared. Even simple things like traffic control systems stopped working. On the Zephyrian homeworld, Counselor Veltar watched his civilization collapse in real time. Every computer screen in his palace showed the same message. You should have treated us better. Humanity. Veltar tried to use his psychic powers to contact other Zephyrian leaders, but he discovered something terrible. The human-computer virus had somehow infected the psychic network itself. Every time a Zephyrian tried to use mental communication, they heard human voices instead. Impossible, Veltar whispered. Humans are just animals. They cannot do this. But they were doing it. All across the galaxy. Alien civilizations that had seemed mighty and advanced were falling apart. Their technology was failing. Their communications were dead. Their military bases were burning. The humans had been patient for 5 years. They had endured insults and robbery and murder. They had let the aliens think they were weak and stupid. Now the galaxy was learning the truth. Humans were not weak. They were not stupid. They had been planning and preparing and building weapons while the aliens laughed at them. The age of alien dominance was ending. The age of human vengeance had begun. 6 months after the human uprising began, the same crystal chamber where humanity had once begged for scraps now waited in nervous silence. The surviving members of the Galactic Council sat in their floating chairs, but everything felt different. Now, Admiral Song Minjin walked through the tall doors with steady steps. Behind him came 5 other humans, all wearing clean military uniforms. They moved like predators who knew they had already won. The sound of their boots on the crystal floor echoed in the quiet room. Gone was the desperate politeness of Captain Kim Min-ho from years ago. These humans did not bow or ask permission. They walked straight to the center of the chamber, like they owned it. The few remaining Korthok representatives shifted nervously in their seats. Commander Grak was dead, killed when his space station exploded. Most of the Korthok military fleet was destroyed or captured. The survivors had learned to fear the sight of human ships. Counselor Veltar floated near the back of the room, his tentacles dim and colorless. His once mighty psychic network was still infected with human viruses. Every time he tried to read human thoughts, he heard only static and pain. The Zephyrian collective that had once enslaved entire worlds now could barely control their own minds. Honored Council, Song began, but his voice held no respect. It was the voice of someone stating facts to defeated enemies. 6 months ago, you thought you knew what humans were capable of. He activated a holographic display that filled the center of the room. It showed star maps with colored regions marking territory control. Red areas that had once shown massive Korthok territory were now much smaller. Blue Zephyrian space had shrunk to half its original size. New green areas marked human-controlled systems, 27 star systems that humans had taken and now defended. You believed we were weak because we chose diplomacy, Song continued. You mistook our patience for inability, our mercy for cowardice. A small alien that looked like a walking stick insect raised one thin arm. Admiral Song, surely we can reach some agreement. The Council is willing to discuss new trade arrangements. Song's cold stare silenced the alien immediately. You are not here to negotiate. You are here to accept terms. The room grew even quieter. Several aliens made nervous sounds. A few of the smaller species had already signed separate peace treaties with humanity. They were smart enough to see which way the war was going. Song gestured to his aide, Colonel Kim Dae-young, who stepped forward with a data tablet. These are the conditions for peace, Kim Dae-young announced. First, all human prisoners and slaves will be returned immediately. Second, the tribute system is ended. Humans will pay no taxes to the Council. Third, any species that attacks human ships or colonies will face immediate military response. Veltar's tentacles flickered weakly. You cannot simply ignore galactic law. The Council has authority over. The Council has the authority we choose to give it, Song interrupted. Nothing more. Song walked closer to Veltar's floating chair. The alien commander, who had once casually invaded human minds, now trembled at Song's approach. You told us we were like pets, Song said quietly. You said our minds were simple, easy to control. Do you remember that? Veltar tried to probe Song's thoughts, but found nothing but painful feedback. The human's mind was completely protected. Remember everything, Song continued. Every insult, every theft, every murder. The 43 children who died on New Busan because your Korthok allies destroyed their medicine. The 300 miners worked to death on Kepler 440b because you found it amusing to control human minds. Song stepped back and addressed the entire council. You had 5 years to learn how to treat us as equals. You chose to treat us as animals instead. The holographic display changed to show human military bases, now spread across the galaxy. Defensive stations protected human colonies. Patrol fleets kept human trade routes safe. The humans had built an empire, while the aliens were busy destroying each other. We tried to join your community in peace, Song said. When that failed, we built our own community. One where humans are safe. One where no alien can steal from us, or hurt us, or control us. A bird-like alien with 4 wings spoke up nervously. What about species that wish to trade peacefully with humanity? Surely we can. Peaceful trade is welcome, Kim Dae-young answered. But it will be on equal terms. No tribute, no special taxes, no inspections that are really robbery. Any species that wants to be our friend must prove they respect us. Song walked back to the center of the chamber. Some of you are wondering if you can rebuild your fleets and try again. Let me save you the trouble of finding out. The holographic display showed recordings from recent battles. Human ships moving in perfect coordination. Alien weapons failing to hit their targets. Massive enemy bases reduced to debris in minutes. Our technology advances every day, Song explained. Our artificial intelligence learns from every battle. Our weapons become more effective with each use. The gap between human and alien military capability grows wider every month, not smaller. The truth hung in the air like a heavy weight. The aliens had missed their chance to destroy humanity when they thought humans were weak. Now it was too late. Song looked around the chamber one final time. You wanted to know what humans were capable of. Now you know. We can be the best friends you ever had, or the worst enemies you ever faced. The choice is yours. As the human delegation prepared to leave, Veltar managed to whisper one final message to his aide through their damaged psychic link. They were never sheep. They were wolves who chose to be patient, until we gave them a reason to stop being patient. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity would never be underestimated again.